Chris Columbus really pushed the syrupy levels high with his next couple of pictures, though. Stepmom was his first attempt at a straight drama, and it's a lengthy 2 hours of boredom. While all the actors do give solid performances, especially Susan Sarandon, the script fills the thing with subplots, each more sentimental than the last, and Columbus is not the least bit subtle about it. That there are a total of 5 credited screenwriters is probably not at all surprising. The pacing is languid, which is unexpected of the usually fast-cutting Columbus. Almost every cliched beat you can expect finds its way into Stepmom, and it's a long wait until the end credits. Even the bits of humor characteristic of Columbus' work don't land here. He certainly gave a game try at a sentimental melodrama, but the result is a mishmash of scenes that are more dull than heartwarming, not to mention one of John Williams' lesser scores. Bicentennial Man might be even worse though, as it traps Robin Williams under a robotic suit which constricts the actor's best qualities. I mentioned how long and overly sappy Stepmom is, and this one is even more so. A lot of the traits people tend to criticize Columbus for are all in this plotting mess. Most disappointing of all is how dull it looks, making it one of the most unremarkable looking science fiction films I've seen. The whole thing is under a glow, which only makes it more obvious how unsubtle this film is in wanting to make the audience cry. There's not a single genuine moment in Bicentennial Man, and that it wastes Robin Williams' talents is just as disappointing as the gooey screenplay. This feels like the sort of project Steven Spielberg would have done wonders with, and he kind of already did with AI, artificial intelligence. The special effects are quite good, and Embeth Davis is her usual strong self, but those are the only compliments I can really give this claptrap of a film. Thankfully, Columbus would redeem himself not long after this. There was certainly a lot of responsibility with being handed the keys to starting the Harry Potter franchise, and Chris Columbus did such a great job that the first 2 films are actually my favorites in the series. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone has an immensely timeless quality to it, as, special effects aside, it's the kind of film that could have been done in the 90s, 80s, and 70s. It's got that old school feel to it that I appreciate. Columbus and screenwriter Steve Kloves had to put this entire world on screen only previously portrayed in J.K. Rowling's written words, and they more than succeeded in bringing the audience to Hogwarts and going along with Harry on the ride. With John Williams' magnificent score playing a major role, there's a fantastic whimsy about the whole story, and most impressively is how they're able to introduce this wizard world without feeling like we're getting a boatload of exposition. The special effects are on the dodgy side, especially the Quidditch match, and Daniel Radcliffe took a while before he became a decent actor. But those are the few faults I can find here. The whole film is otherwise stunning, and upon the ending, it's hard not to get pumped up for the next adventure. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets is my absolute favorite of the 8 films, though. It really feels like Columbus returning to his Amblin roots and crafting a movie that feels like the sort Steven Spielberg would have directed or produced in the 1980s. Yes, it's darker, and the stakes are even higher in this chapter, but that makes it all the more exciting. Columbus is able to shift from funny scenes to spectacular action moments to even bits of horror throughout the course of the film, and it never comes across as jarring. The adult actors playing the school teachers are all magnificent, especially Kenneth Branagh as Gilderoy Lockhart. Roger Pratt's cinematography is stunning as the camera swoops through the Hogwarts grounds, and the special effects are a major improvement over the first one, with the Quidditch game not looking so video gamey this time around. The climax is also up there as one of the best in the series, full of the mystery and peril that the earlier 2 hours were building up to. While I am glad that Chris Columbus then passed the torch over to Alfonso Cuarón for the next one, what he did with starting up the franchise was very important in getting us to understand how well J.K. Rowling's imaginative stories would work on the big screen. It's surprising it took until Rent for Columbus to eventually direct a musical, but he did a very good job of translating the popular stage show to the screen. While almost the entire film is sung, it can be a challenge to make that sustain a full feature, but I think Columbus succeeded, with almost all the musical numbers being well edited and strongly choreographed. It's able to tackle the topic of AIDS with the right sensibility, and his direction never becomes overly schmaltzy, nor do any of the characters become simple archetypes. Columbus knows whether to direct number either flashingly or subtly, with befitting the tone of the music. The actors do a great job of translating their roles from the stage show, and ultimately this becomes a worthy adaptation and worth watching for those who, like myself, have never seen Rent live. If you were to ask me what I consider Chris Columbus's worst film, I'd have to pick I Love You, Beth Cooper. This is a monumentally stupid teen comedy with completely unredeemable characters and lacking any sort of humor and wit. It throws in every single cliché from the night on the town subgenre with none of the adventure element Columbus previously displayed in Adventures in Babysitting. A lot of the jokes are completely moronic and it's shot in such a sitcom manner. The lead actor is just obnoxious and one wonders why we're meant to root for him. The main villain is a completely ridiculous persona and the whole thing is just unbelievable from start to finish. The one positive I can say is that Hayden Panettiere is actually very good and has all the charm we have come to expect from her. It's just a shame she's saddled with such a lousy script. Chris Columbus has said he wanted to try his hand as a higher-on director and create a return to the John Hughes teen film. But even he has admitted he fell very short and was disappointed in the final product, and I don't blame him. Columbus returned to the fantasy fray with Percy Jackson and the Olympians' The Lightning Thief. I've read a lot of complaints that it deviated a lot from the book, but seeing as I never read the source material, I'm going to look at it on its own terms. And I enjoyed it. Yes, it's Columbus back in a sort of Harry Potter territory, albeit with teenagers instead. However, he's a right fit for this material. I like how the Greek myths are incorporated into the film, and even touches on how the gods impregnated Earth women. The three leads are all very good, with Percy believably asking questions about this new world he's sucked into. While it is a road trip movie, Columbus makes the stops entertaining, with a particular highlight being an encounter with Medusa. I also enjoyed the training early on, as Percy Jackson learns his powers. Again, very Harry Potter-esque, but that doesn't dilute the charm of it. While not on par with those Hogwarts tales, I thought this was an imaginative and clever little adventure. And finally, we reached his latest movie, Pixels, which was a mixed bag and a bit of a disappointment in my opinion. The premise had a lot of potential, especially with the fantastic short film it was based on, and when the video game characters are on screen, it's a lot of fun. Columbus does a great job with the major action set pieces, with a battle against Pac-Man being a particular highlight. When a whole bunch of classic 8-bit characters descend onto Washington, D.C., it's a lot of fun to spot them all, and Columbus and the special effects artists do a lot of creative things with them. And contrary to what a lot of other people have said, I actually think Kevin James did a very good and believable job as the President of the United States. Where the script falters is with the human characters. None of them are that interesting, with Josh Gad and Peter Dinklage being surprisingly annoying in their roles. The humor does not land whatsoever, with one joke hitting a brick wall after another. This is a film that really could have used new screenwriters, because when Pixels tries to hit the funny bone, it just doesn't work. The decision to give Q*bert an annoying high-pitched voice was particularly baffling. Nonetheless, I think there are a lot of moments of inspiration mixed in with a number of dull scenes of nothing. In conclusion, while he has had his ups and downs, I still consider myself a fan of Chris Columbus's body of work, and he almost consistently finds new worlds to make the impossible real. And isn't that what movies are for? Whatever he decides to do next, I will certainly look forward to it. See you next time.